Can you please stop pushing your dietary ideology? Just stop. And guys, I'm not just talking about the vegans. This also applies to the keto fanatics, the carnivore fascists, anyone else who strictly adheres to a dietary dogma that says that it's the best diet and the only diet that humans should be eating. Here's the thing. You're not carnivore. You're not vegan. You're not low carb. You're not any of those things. First and foremost, you're a human being. And so instead of labeling yourself, you should stop engaging in groupthink and identity politics. You see, there's so much hostility, like unnecessary hostility between the different groups of people who follow different diets for different reasons. I mean, like, it's utterly bizarre to witness how someone can get so much abuse simply for changing their diet. But the very fact that it exists and it happens means that we need to think about why it happens. So humans are fundamentally tribal in nature. You know, we thrive when we have a sense of community, a sense of belonging, a sense of shared purpose, a higher goal to strive towards with others. Like, this is all stuff that can provide us with meaning in our lives. Unfortunately, in the modern world, we're stripped of this. We're isolated from one another, and people are frankly lost. They're left craving this sense of community with others based on some kind of shared values. Given that we're no longer living in tribes and most of us don't have a wide network of close family members that we see on a regular basis, we tend to flock towards others who have shared interests. Now, of course, this naturally is going to happen in the nutrition field, and we see that it is. Just looking online, there's communities of thousands of members. These online communities have the potential to be really good. They can essentially nourish people. People can learn new information. They can share information. They can grow. But we have to acknowledge that community also has its potential downsides. One of the potential dangers is succumbing to the effects of tribalism, a sacrifice of one's own identity in favor of the group identity. This tribal-like mindset fosters cognitive rigidity and black and white thinking. If you fully engage with this, you lose the ability to critically think. You lose the ability to appreciate nuance, subtlety, and context. With this kind of mindset, we begin to view the world through a lens of us versus them. And us being anyone who agrees with me or is going to reinforce my own beliefs, my own worldview. On the other hand, them being anyone who disagrees with me or presents opposing viewpoints. And this tendency is deeply embedded within psychology. It's practically how we function as humans, and it's impossible to fully escape. And thanks to our many cognitive biases, coupled with the fact that we voluntarily usually surround ourselves with people who agree with us and find ourselves in echo chambers, naturally leads to a situation where we're convinced that our position is the right position. We're overconfident in our own knowledge base. So all in all, it's natural for people to form groups based on their interests. If people find a diet, of course, it helps them, and then they're going to want to share that. They're going to want to talk to people, learn more things, and share useful information. Like, that's cool. That's an excellent thing. The problem occurs when you allow those dietary choices to define who you are as an individual. It's not part of your identity. It's a choice that you make. But you're far more than that. And yep, you might be interested in nutrition. That's great. Heck, it might even be your job, as it is for me. But there's surely 1,001 other qualities and characteristics that you have. Like, you have a personality, right? You have an identity that's outside of nutrition. Because if you don't, then you've got way bigger problems to focus on. But unfortunately, when there is this us versus them mentality, or a perception of the world based on people's group identity, whether it's carnivore, keto, vegan, whatever it is, then that can foster hostility between different people and different groups. And that's exactly what we see in the nutrition world. Again, evidence of purely black and white thinking is abundant. Instead of thoughtfully listening to the evidence and reconsidering one's position, it's much less uncomfortable to shun away any opposing views. Don't be the person who reacts with moral outrage when your favorite nutrition influencer decides to stop eating the diet that you've personally been following. Don't feel betrayed. Don't get offended. Don't react as though it's a personal attack against you, because it's not. I mean, when we really look at this situation, it's frankly absurd. for the vast portion of human history, we've not had the privilege of being able to decide what foods we do and don't eat. We've just eaten what's available. What we're dealing with is a modern problem, okay? This is a 21st century, 20th century problem. However, the underlying psychological dynamic is probably as old as the human race itself. And here's the thing to remember is that no one really cares about what you eat. It serves a purpose, and that purpose is to provide your body with fuel and keep you healthy. That's it. Furthermore, if we follow some particular kind of diet and we feel as though it's helped us, it's very easy to jump to the conclusion that it will help everyone else as well. Remember, there really is no one size fits all. So anyone who's telling you that there is either ignorant, doesn't really know that much, or is lying to you. Appreciate that what might work for one person doesn't work for another person, and that's okay. And oftentimes the truth is somewhere in the middle. So let's not be pushing our dietary choices on other people. Let's not be hurling abuse at others for being on a diet that we don't necessarily agree with. The fact is, we don't know their story. We don't know what helps them and what is good for them and what is bad for them. So leave them to it. And that's basically all I have to say on the subject.